What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik, the hardest working man in sports and gaming, and it is time to break down some of the players for the idea that I've been kind of throwing at you guys for a few months. The new NBA franchise fiction, creating my own league from scratch, players, teams. I've showed you some of the teams already, created by my man Alpha Graphics. But now it's time to get into some of my player creations. I came up with a pretty simplified system to create some fresh, brand new, just unique style players. All of my players basically are a hybrid of two different types of players. Doesn't mean they're super deep, super duper hero players or anything. As you can see, he's going to have some stars. You're going to have some people who are not that good. You're going to have a mix, so it'll be just like a real league. So I'm putting these guys on the 76ers to start, because to start in my league, you got to fill up the roster with players, and they got to go on real teams. So if you're going to do either a fantasy draft, which is what I think I'm going to do to start my league, they all have to be on the rosters of teams that will be included in your my league, so that they can be included in the fantasy draft. I mean, you can do something with historic teams, but it gets a little weird when you do that. So I'm going to do it this way. So we're going to start off filling up the Sixers, then the Bucks, and then we'll go through the entire league. But that won't matter, because all of those teams are going to get rebranded to fresh, brand new NBA teams. And it's going to be a fantasy draft anyway, so it won't matter. So we're going to start off. Our first player is MOHAMMED. Now, MOHAMMED is a hybrid player, just like everybody else on this thing. And he is a mixture kind of Nick Anderson and Drazen Petrovic. So if you think about that, that's not a bad mix for a shooting guard, small forward. He's got, says 6'6", 225 pounds. And as you might be able to deduce, he's quite the three-point shooter. He can fill it up. You look at some of his signature stuff here. The jump shot is actually a pretty nice motion on the jump shot. You cannot expect him to have a bunch of super duper athleticism, even though Nick Anderson was a pretty good athlete. But this is, I would say he has more Drazen Petrovic's athleticism, a lot of his skill, but he's got a lot of Nick Anderson's physical attributes from a size and strength standpoint. He's got some good badges, especially on the shooting side. 3-point, look at this. He's killing it. 3-point Hall of Fame catch and shoot. Hall of Fame corner specialist, clutch shooter, dead eye. So he's definitely shooting a lot like Drazen Petrovic. So when you look at him, you see some of his the shot motions that he has. Just a really good scorer, and the rating that he got is a 90. So MOHAMMED can put it in the bucket for sure. The next up, we got Brad Randolph. Brad Randolph is an 87, and Brad Randolph is a very so far right now, he's about the most athletic guy that I've made. If I had to kind of give him a mix, you're probably looking at Lucius Allen from the 70s Bucks and Rod Strickland. So he's got some quicks for sure. He can move, and so the dribble moves and all of that are going to be pretty crazy. He also looks like Kevin Garnett and K Spade is somehow related to him in some way, shape, or form. So that always is a thing. 6'2", 174, got that size of kind of like both of them. Probably a little thinner than Rod Strickland, but he's got some wiggle for sure. You see with him working out in the freestyle gym. And of course, like I said before, don't pay any attention to the fact that you're looking at him in a 76ers uniform, because that's not the uniform he's going to be wearing. Won't be wearing an NBA uniform at all, or at least not a traditional NBA. All right, so let's look at the next guy, and his name is AYUB MCCOY. AYUB MCCOY is an 86 overall. He's got some wiggle too, but he's smaller than than Brad Randolph, and not quite the athlete, about 6 foot, 180 pounds. The mixture is Mark Price and Phil Chenier. And Phil Chenier was a two-way player for sure. So you're talking about somebody who can get after it on defense, but also a very capable scorer. And he's got some nice handle too. So AYUB McCoy, I like that name too. It just kind of got a personality to it, and he just seems like a New York native. Like he's got some sauce on that game. Y'all don't tell Nelson that I said that, because he'll think that means some sort of compliment to him and New Yorkers, and we can't have him feeling complimented at all. That's just not the dynamic that we like to maintain here. All right, so let's look our next guy. Now we're getting into a place where we're not necessarily looking at the most skilled players. We're looking at some guys who, they're in the league. They're in the new NBA, but they're not the most dynamic. And the next guy is PAWEL Whiteley. PAWEL Whiteley, he's a 78, so he's not a bad player. He's only 21 years old. He's got some good size on him. He is 6'6", 215 pounds. He can play either the shooting guard or the point guard, because he does handle rails. So he's a pretty interesting style player. His mix is weird, right? Shake Milton. He's got like Shake Milton size, but he's got Isaiah Thomas, not Zeke. Isaiah Thomas. We're talking about Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets, Sacramento Kings, Isaiah Thomas. So unfortunately, he plays small. He does not play to his size. So he's got the length, but you can't. He's not exploding over anybody. He's not dunking on guys. But he does have some decent handle. He is left-handed as well. So he's interesting. He's an interesting player. Like, if I had to compare him to somebody, would be based off of that mix that he has, I would have to compare him to like Kyle Anderson. But yeah, Kyle Anderson may be he's quicker, a little quicker than, well, he's definitely quicker than Kyle Anderson. You don't take much to be quicker than Kyle Anderson, but he's got a little bit of that there. So that's going to be an interesting mix itself. All right, let's look at our last guy for this episode. We might start doing more than just 5. We'll see. Let's keep it at this pace for the time being. But this is so far the worst player that I've made from a rating standpoint. But the ratings are not always everything. This gentleman's name is Morgan Spears, and Morgan Spears has the little Russell Westbrook braided mohawk fade thing. He kind of looks like somebody, I don't know. I kind of randomized a little bit with the face. I wish you could actually do the randomizer thing with the face, but you can't. He's a mixture of Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf and Troy Daniels. So he can really shoot the ball. But he's smallish. And because he's got a lot of Troy Daniels' more of Troy Daniels' skill and more of Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf's height and size, he's really like an undersized shooting guard, and he's not incredibly explosive, but he can really shoot the ball. As you can see, got a real easy shot motion too, so that helps. So that is Morgan Spears. Sounds almost like he should either be a free safety or a stand-up comic. I'm not sure, one of the two. But that's what we got for the first 5 guys who are going into our draft pool. So I probably won't do this. I don't know. Maybe we'll start doing a little bit more, because we got to fill up an entire league. So it could be quite a few guys going into this. Hopefully you dig the character creations and all that, and kind of like the little mini storylines we can create with this. This is the whole point. It's actually kind of fun. It's pretty fun actually. So I appreciate y'all watching as always. God bless and peace.